Introduction. May I please invite Shraddha to all of you guys? Can we have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? From your home, you can do that to make it feel alive the way we used to do earlier. Okay, a very good morning, Shraddha, and a warm welcome. I'm very glad to introduce you with all the audience who are watching you live and looking forward to voraciously. They are looking forward to hear your exciting journey, how you have done the transition from an IT background. Earlier you were working. I'll give them a quick brief about your profile into data science. A quick brief, guys. I'll give you about Shraddha's profile. So Shraddha, talking about Shraddha, so she comes from a BTech IT background. Earlier, before coming to Aegis, she had almost 3.10, almost close to 4 years of experience with Accenture, and she was working as a application development analyst with Accenture. And after that, she joined Aegis. And after completion of her program, she joined Vodafone Idea Limited as an assistant general manager data scientist. So, okay, my first question to you, a warm welcome again, Shraddha, to this talk show, which is a journey. Yes. So I believe that you are keeping well and working from home, I guess, right?
Yes.
Great. And a first question, that would be an icebreaker. So we want to know, though I have given you a quick brief to all the individuals who are there to know your journey. Could you please give us a quick brief about your profile, your background, your qualification, your work experience? A quick gist, if you can give a touch up about that. Over to you, Shraddha.
Yes. So, as you've already mentioned, so I've completed my engineering in IT from Pune University. And immediately after my graduation, I joined Accenture as an Idea Limited as a data scientist. And yeah, currently I'm working with them.
Okay, great. So another thing which typically, so these are the questions. I'll give you a quick gist about the audience we have today. So we have a mixed sort of crowd. There are individuals who are working into the analytics part, like you have worked earlier. Some of them have 1 to 2 years of experience. The statistics, what we have got. There are individuals who are complete fresher, who are looking forward, who have just completed their graduation, but due to this pandemic situation, the offer letter what the companies have given to them, it's on hold. They have no idea when the company will release them. So at that point of time, they are looking forward to upgrade their skills. That kind of individuals we have on board. We have the individuals who are already working 3 to 4 years of experience or 10 plus years of experience, but not into data science or not into analytics. They are working into some IT services, retail, in different backgrounds, financial background, and they are looking forward to do a transition into data science. So this is what the crowd we have today. Why I have discussed this thing with you, because so that you can frame your answers accordingly, so that, because I'll be putting up these questions which individuals they have requested, and they always keen to know from those individuals who are already working in that data science vertical. So another question what I would like to ask you, what made you think so to make your career in data science, Shraddha? So whether it happened by chance, because already you were working and you're working into analytics only. So it was, if it was by choice, so if you could give a quick light on that, so that would be great. Yes.
Yeah. So, deciding a career is definitely a very crucial decision of our life. So, my journey was not very different. Like many people can relate to it. After 10th, you usually take either science or commerce, and then with the flow, everyone is doing engineering. So you eventually I chose engineering and pursued my career in IT, and then I joined Accenture. So when you join a company after graduation, you really don't have that much freedom to choose the kind of technology or the field you want to work in. So that is where, from there you look for a growth. You want that growth, and there are two options for you. One is to either switch companies, and other is to upgrade yourself, or upskill yourself. And I, being from a technical background, I was looking for something which is more aligned to technical side. So when I first read about data science, so I read about these three pillars of data science. One is statistics and maths, second being your algorithm and coding, and third being the domain knowledge. So I was comfortable in coding, but rest of the two things were something I had to learn about. And that's when I decided that I will take a course and invest my time to learn about these things, and then transition my career into data science. And other thing that I knew about data science is, I had heard from a lot of people that every day you'll get to solve problems, you'll be given new problem statements, so you will have that freedom to implement things on your own. So that is what motivated me, or made me choose this career. And yeah.
Okay, good. So typically, thank you for giving a quick brief that how the journey and the transition you have thought of. Very wise call that you have taken, and because of which you are in that position that you are working upon. I completely understand it's a bit challenging, but you are enjoying, I believe, at the end.
Yes.
So what you have decided. Right. Okay. So another question would go like this is again the question comes from the attendees' point of view, and
Okay.
the individuals who are joining us, who have already joined, they will be able to relate that question. So their first question, which we always do come across, so this question goes like, what does a data scientist do, or maybe what is the daily routine of a data scientist? So my question would goes like, I would like to frame it, how you start your day. I believe that you are working from home now, but still, since the
Yes.
time you have joined the organization, so how your day starts, and how you spend your day. So if you can give us a quick brief on that part, so it will be helpful for the individuals who are listening and watching you live.
Yes. So basically, we have known that data science is something, make the data useful for the organization so that they can take better decisions. Actually, after joining, I just, went there for 2 weeks, and then the lockdown happened. Since then, I've been working from home, and my everyday is like, it's not same for all the days. It's different at times. You're presented with like problems that you have to think some solutions upon, like how we can get this done. And so there are many problems being as I'm working in a telecom industry. The data is huge, there are many problems there, and the tools and technologies that we are working with are mostly SQL, Python, machine learning. These are the tools that we are working with.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to highlight few points that your day starts with, it's not same as like a routine. Please turn off your microphone whenever you have put up. Karthik Taneja, please turn off your microphone. It would be a bit disturbing for us to because it will get a disruption. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now typically, so I would like to highlight certain points. So now it's every day it's a different. So you have a lot of things that trying to identify the problem statement and to frame the solutions, and you work upon various technologies that you have mentioned. Great. So now another question, like since you are new to that particular data science domain, Shraddha, so how this data science domain is treating you? What are the challenges you face on day-to-day basis, and how well prepared you are to cope up with those challenges? I believe you understand the question.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So as I mentioned earlier, that data science is a blend of many things. Your statistics, coding, and domain knowledge. So here, for me, as I'm new to this field, to telecom industry, so domain knowledge is something which I'm, trying to get to know the data, because that's very important. You have to know the data, you have to know what it is, you have to know your domain to be able to, provide solutions to the problems. And that is one thing. uh, Apart from that, I think one more thing, that when you are presented with problems, so not every problem will have the same solution. So you should have that, ability to, always come up with a fresh approach to different kind of problems. Because data science, it's like, it's a field where sometimes you just experiment, and your experiments can fail. So you should always be ready to, come up with a fresh approach to something. And yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So
learning that.
true. So another question would go in the same way, like you have already mentioned earlier, but again, I would like to reframe that question in that way. So since you're already working in the technology, like different solutions that you're providing to the Vodafone, every day it's a new day for you, new challenges, new problems, and you're framing your question with a lot of skills and technologies that you have been using, like starting from the statistics, your SQL, your Python, your machine learning. So since you are sitting on that side of the table today, right? Because earlier you were on that side of the table when you are
Yes.
learning, exploring, and acquiring those skills and upgrading yourself to prove your worth, so that the industries will pick you up. So now you have successfully done that, the transition. So what are the hottest skills that what companies they always look forward to, that the individuals they should have, which we call the technologies, which is a core part of that industry 4.0 revolution in data science? What are the hottest skills the companies they look forward to?
Okay. So the regarding the skills, I would like to divide this in two parts. One is the technical skills, and other is the non-technical part. So in technical skills, the very basic subjects, which is statistics, machine learning, Python for data science, SQL, these are like basics of data science. And um, these subjects were there in the curriculum that we had, and they were, taught to us from very basic. So we were very well versed with these technologies. Talking about the non-technical part, as I said, as I've already mentioned, that you have to come up with a approach that satisfies the business objective, or that solves a business problem. Apart from that, you should, ask the whys and whats, like why we are doing this, why we have to, do a particular thing, or why, if you are removing some variables, or you are choosing some variables, then why you have to have answers to all the whys. That is the non-technical skill that they are looking for.
Okay. So now, very well mentioned, Shraddha. So I believe the audience, the attendees who are watching you and listening you, they might be getting, or the understanding about, if they are looking forward to make a switch, how they should start and what sort of skills what companies are looking forward to. Okay. So as you mentioned that you are working from home, and you already have mentioned that point, that data science, it's all about, it's a research oriented sector, right, in which you
Yes.
have to keep your you have to be absolutely on your toes every day. You should not stop learning. This is not
Yes.
the case when you say that okay, you have done something, and now this will now you have enough fuel through which you can which will take you through more than 1,000 or 2,000 or millions of miles. So you have to keep upgrading your skills. So
That's true.
since this lockdown is happening, and I know you personally as well, you've been a very bright student at Aegis. So what are the measures you are taking in order to upskill yourself? Any specific thing apart from, though you're working, but to brush up your skills? Anything you are working upon to upgrading yourself, your skills? Anything you are doing?
Yes. So there is a lot of, as I have joined recently, so there are a lot of new things that have come across. So when I moved out of Aegis, I completed the course. So I was having the basic knowledge of everything, but that is enough to, get started as a data scientist. Above, like after that, you have to upgrade yourself. So when I came here, there are these things being used, but there is advanced version of it being used. So that is where I'm working on, that is where I have to put in efforts to, I'm trying to learn the advanced versions of. So I have the basics with me. I'm trying to learn the advanced version of it myself.
Okay, good. This is because why I asked you this question, because individuals, they still think once they are done with that skill upgradation, so they are done
Hmm.
for the life, right? So this is not true, because it's a
No.
completely research oriented segment in which you have to upgrade yourself every day to keep yourself alive in the industry. Okay, so another
Yes.
question would go like, it would be a question from those individuals, though you are coming from IT background, but since you have the exposure of the industry today, and you have worked upon various projects earlier, so you have been into that, you are working, right? So this is a common myth that we always have been, asked from the individuals that who are from non-IT or non-coding background. You mentioned earlier, I believe the attendees are following us, like you mentioned about the individuals who are coming from non-IT or commerce background though. So, but this question, I would like to highlight that question from those individuals' point of view who are coming from non-IT or non-coding background. So
Okay.
so it's a myth, or maybe it's a fact, that people think that data science, it's all about hardcore coding in which you only have to develop the softwares, or hardcore software development kind of job it is. So according to you, as per your notion, or how far that is true, Shraddha?
Okay. So I would say that it is not completely true, because since I've been mentioning this, that data science is a blend of skills. It is not just coding. It is statistical analysis. It is also domain knowledge. So I was comfortable with coding, but rest two areas is something where I'm working on. And I believe that people from non-IT background, so say from commerce, they have functional knowledge, they have business knowledge. So that is very crucial. That is also a very important skill to have. So what they have to work on is the coding thing. And as in the course, we were already, we started with the very basics. Like there were many people in my batch who were from maybe mechanical field or from non-IT field. But after the course, they turned out to be great coders. So it's not a limitation. The only limitation there would be few things that you cannot do it. Otherwise, it's possible.
Okay, so I believe that was a quite myth burster answer from Shraddha that would be coming up. So learning from the expert and listening from the expert is a different blend altogether. So this is how it is. So you do not need any specific coding skills, because learning Python, you will be agreeing on that, it is quite easier because this is a coding language, which is not that intensive as to learn
Yes.
the Java and kind of stuff, which is not actually required. So, but yes, Python, which is a coding, but it's a syntax based coding that you've been working. So
It's
it's
very basic coding that you need to be aware of, and with practice, you can, become an expert of it. So it is not that big a thing.
true. So like you mentioned about the different courses that you have been through. So how far the capstone projects are helping you, Shraddha, in your working environment that you have been working?
Yeah. So talking about the projects that we did at Aegis, they have helped a lot. Like so, for every subject that we had, we completed a project which helped us in knowing the basics of the subject to get a good hold over the subject. And capstone project is somewhere where we are using all these things that we have learned, all these tools we have learned to implement one. So my capstone project, we went to one of the leading music channels in India. So we had taken our capstone project for them. So since it was a music channel, we had to do song recommendation for them. And projects are very important. They are asked in interview. You should know, like in and out of your project, they will help you to better your basics of the subject. So I think whenever you are given a project, you should like do it sincerely. You should know in and out of it what you are doing, why you are doing. They are very helpful in the learning process.
Okay, great. I believe the attendees, they might be getting the answers from all their queries, what they have raised. And we'll give you a chance once we are done with the session. Then we will be opening up with the question and answer session. Any questions you would have, you will feel free to ask. And at that point of time, we will allow you to use your microphone and your videos as well. Okay, so another question, which would be, I have already mentioned in the agenda, if you're following me. So we all have been hearing the jargons for the last 5-6 years about data scientists. So you are one of them today in the league. So like data scientist is the sexiest job of 21st century. We all have been hearing that jargons. A lot of research has been done. The Harvard Business Review, they have quoted that statement with the article. Jeff and DJ Patil, they have mentioned that article in 2013, I guess.
Yes.
So how far, as per your notion, how do you define that sexiness in your job? Is it the tedious work that you are involved with, or maybe the intensive, you always have to be in your toes, or maybe that would be the challenges that you face every day-to-day basis, or the money?
So I'd say it makes the fall. So as we've been hearing that, data is the new oil, and all the organizations, they want to be, they want to become a data-driven organization. So what is happening currently is there is a huge demand of this skill. Like there's a huge demand for data scientists, and we do not have that skill in that amount, you know. So the reason is there's a huge demand, and the supply is less. So yeah, that definitely leads to getting a fat paycheck there. And the other thing about the work I feel is, whatever work you are doing in the organization, it is directly impacted on the business. So I have done a few projects in my organization, and the outcome that we see is, directly in terms of business. So um, you can see that how much impact your work, by how much impact your work, causes on the organization. So I think that is the sexiness. And also the term, I think data scientist looks quite fascinating. So yeah, it's all about it.
Oh, true, true. So very well explained, Shraddha. So also, like you mentioned about the demand and supply gap, that is very much one of the major fact. The demand is very high, but the supply is very less. So how do you, taking that pandemic, which we all are facing, we are all locked down in our home, the cage, right? So we are not allowed to go out for our own safety, for the safety of the nation. And so how do you define, I mean, at that point of time, where the situation where the most of the companies are very strict in terms of coming up with the new jobs, or maybe the skills which are completely redundant, though the data science is still hot and it will be. So what is the demand at this point of time? How do you think how the companies are treating for those individuals who are looking forward to make a transition? So how the companies are treating those individuals at that pandemic situation, Shraddha?
There is definitely a huge demand. As we can see our governments have launched apps, Arogya Setu, like many people must be aware of it. And using that app, they are tracking people. So there is a huge data involved in it. So many use cases are coming, due to which companies want to hire data scientists. And I think this time that we have got in the lockdown is a great opportunity to invest in learning these skills, so that after the lockdown, by the time you are, you have those skills, and you can get out and try your luck in the career. And it has a huge demand, and it will have a huge demand in next few years.
Very rightly mentioned. I believe the attendees, they are getting the answers to their queries. So this is one of the another question that we always do come up, that what would be the demand and how the companies. I always understand and believe that being a part of this, data-driven acumen. So I know that there is a huge demand which is coming out, and because of that, even the government, they are spending heavily in the data. And it's the entire era in which we are in social distancing, what we are following, in which the data this is a new oil, a very high demand, right? So it's very high. Companies are hiring. There is not that much recession that we have seen typically in that data science vertical. That our own observation is. Okay, so now I would like to ask one more question. That would be a takeaway question. Then we'll start the Q&A sessions. So what would be the piece of advice, though you have answered almost everything to the questions, what the individuals they have quoted, what I thought, okay, that these are the questions that would be helpful for those budding data scientists who are looking forward to invest in learning, who are looking forward to upgrade their skills, what is the way out, how the industry perspective about the, when it comes to hiring. So you have very well explained all the pointers here. So in the end question, that was the last question from my end, then we'll open up with the question and answer with the attendees. So that would be, what would be the piece of advice or a takeaway you would like to give those individuals who are looking forward to upgrade their skills in that data science vertical? What baby steps they should take, or what is the way out for them?
Okay. So, for people who have already enrolled to courses, data science courses, I would say that be very thorough with the basics, be very thorough with the projects. So by basics, I mean statistics, SQL, Python for data science, and your machine learning algorithms. And know your projects in and out, because in all my interviews, what they asked was the project, and they dig down and they ask a lot of questions around it. So be very thorough with it. People who are thinking to pursue their career in data science, I think if you look on the net, there are a lot of resources and they might confuse you. So you can enroll to some kind of a course so that you have a guideline so as to what needs to be done. So if you have the outline of this course, you can learn those basic things first and then go to the advanced level of it. That would be my advice. And always be curious, have question the assumptions, and ask the why questions. And yes, that's it.
Very, very well explained again. A very genuine piece of advice and a very valid the words of wisdom coming from the experts. So I believe, Manish, please go to that screen. You are switching your screen, Manish. Manish, you have to follow the screen. Yes. Okay. So, all right. So we are done with the questions. What we thought of to ask you, typically questions has no end, but this is what I have framed in such a way so that the individuals at the end, they will get the insights from those individuals who are looking forward to do a transition. So now we are open up for the Q&A. So from the attendees, if anybody would have any question, we are allowing you to please turn on your microphone and feel free to ask your questions to Shraddha. Anybody would have any question? You can type your question over chat so that the moderator will pick that question and we will put it to Shraddha. Anybody would have any questions? Okay, so Praveen is asking, as you can see also, Shraddha, so he has put the question over chat. So once we get hired, what will be our first job? So Praveen, could you please more elaborate about that? So, I mean, he's asking, it will be data cleaning stage or building models, what it would be?
So, hi Praveen. Your first job after getting hired would be to know the data. First, know the data. So you will have to, spend a lot of time in knowing whatever your domain would be, and then it depends. It is not necessarily data cleaning or not necessarily building dashboard. It depends on your organization, what kind of work they are into. If they need visualization, it could be building dashboards. If they need model building, then it could be end to end, and from data cleaning to model building. So for me, it was end to end. I worked end to end from data cleaning to, data preparation to model building.
I believe, Praveen, you get the answer. Okay. Okay. A lot of questions are coming. Okay. So Kalpesh is asking, hi Kalpesh here. Okay. How was your experience from Aegis Institute? Kalpesh is asking that question. Okay.
So hi Kalpesh, uh, Kapilesh. Yeah. So
Kapil.
yeah, my experience from AGs was really good, because the reason why I joined AGs, because at that time there were many courses available, but when I checked the curriculum, so the curriculum for AGs was quite comprehensive, and the duration is like perfect. 11 months is a lot of time to invest in a field like this to get a thorough understanding of the basics. And most importantly, so unlike our graduation courses where we are doing engineering, but we are not using much of it in the after graduation. So in AGs, whatever I have studied, I've used that in the industry. So whatever work I'm getting assigned is something I was already familiar with, because it was already there in the curriculum which was taught. So it is very industry relevant course.
Okay. Another question. So Kalpesh, I believe you got the insights. What your question you have asked. So Sayali is asking, I'm a first year IT graduate engineering student. What online courses do you suggest for basic knowledge? Shraddha, over to you. You also can see the questions, I believe, right? On the chat they
Yes,
are
I
asking.
can. Yeah.
Yes.
So, hi, Saili. Um, I think for first you have to decide, like, in data science also there are many things, like there is visualization, there are data analysts, there are machine learning engineers. So first you have to decide what you want to be in, and if you are thinking as a whole, I assume that you are thinking for data science. So as I mentioned, the basic pillars of data science are statistics and algorithms. So that is something you can start with.
Or also there are other portals I would like to add upon Shraddha, like Coursera is there, edX is there,
Yes.
right? So there are so many, and there are
Yes.
so many courses, the basic courses which are free of cost. You do not have to pay a single penny from your pocket, and you can just start building up the base from the basics, like Coursera, edX, Udemy. A lot of platforms are there. These are not good for, I would suggest, for the very advanced level of courses, because there are certain things in which you need a certain guidance, like you already mentioned. Because the dropout rate in edX, Coursera, Udemy is almost globally 95%. It's a huge, because you do not need any support from the faculties, right? Because these are recorded sessions. So these are the major challenges in those. But yes, starting up with the base or brush up or build your base, these platforms are good. So Kapilesh, no, who's Aryan? We have okay. So he's asking. You also can read it out.
Yeah.
Shraddha,
Is die-hard
is
coding required to become a data scientist? Hi, Aryan. No. Hardcore coding is not required. It is not like, so previously I was in a development job, and it is nothing like that. You just have to, know SQL, Python, and basic for loops, and, basic select statements to fetch the data. That is all you need, and it is not hardcore coding job.
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
certainly it's not hard. We have also mentioned. Praveen is asking. I believe Praveen has turned on his microphone. Yes, Praveen. You
Ma'am,
can
have
speak up and
you,
ask your question.
yeah, ma'am, have you ever used Tableau, ClickSense, or any big data tools for data science project?
So till now, I have not used Tableau or ClickSense. So because my job, till now we do not have any such requirement. The projects that I have been working on. So what I have used is SQL, Python, and machine learning till now. So it depends what role you have, and based on that, you will have to use those tools.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think there's
another
one more
gentleman,
question
his name is
from Kapilish. What will you
Mugesh
suggest?
SP.
Online or offline
Okay,
course?
so another question I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So same question would be asked from Mugesh SP. So he's asking your suggestion on online courses. How would you treat online, completely online courses?
So how would I treat completely online courses? See, I think it depends on the individual. So when I was deciding to, enroll for a full-time offline course at Aegis, so many people suggested me that, don't leave your job, but it all depends on you, because I am someone who learns more when, I'm doing a full-time course, dedicating my complete time to it. But for many of my friends, they have been doing online course, and even, they have nailed it. So it completely depends on, what suits you better.
Okay, so we have Taranjeet also on board. So she is asking the question, what was the most difficult part of starting this journey that you are still currently living and enjoying?
So the most difficult part was to, take this decision, because this is a one time decision that we make, like what career you want to be in. That was the most difficult part. After that, things were like all sorted kind of for me. um, and other challenges, I don't see them as big, because they are learning to me whatever challenges they are, learning.
Okay, so okay, Kurunal Dharmik is asking how data science can help people in their day-to-day life.
I think data science is already helping in your day-to-day life. So if you see many applications around us, like Google Maps, it is using a lot of data, and there are many applications out there which we are already using, and we are not even aware of.
Okay, so we have Dr. Girish Goyal on board. So he's asking what strategies you adopted to study and make the career.
Okay, so after joining the course, for all subjects there was this syllabus mentioned. So I stick to it, because I was new to these subjects. So I didn't want to, just directly go online and look for the topics and randomly do stuff. So I first prepared that outline, and then I studied these topics accordingly. And there is, if there is something you don't understand, there are a lot of resources available. You can just go. There is one thing that you have to invest a lot of time in self study. So I had invested a lot of time in self study, and I think that can, help you to make the career in this. So, and there are many things, you can do projects online. There are Kaggle competitions going on, to be very thorough with your basics. So I think that would be a good start.
And I believe Dr. Girish Goyal, you missed that question that we already have discussed. She has given a brief about the projects, which helped her a lot because she has done some recommendation system, the engine which she has designed for the leading music channel, the online portal in India. So, which also being a very crucial part. So, projects plays a very, very important role apart from the learning what you have got. If I were to highlight these points, what she had mentioned. So part of the strategy, what the participants typically what they follow and what she has included in her statement, like the projects part, learning from the base to advanced level. You have to be the jack of all trades kind of approach, because currently she has been working not only particularly in data cleansing or maybe any maybe dashboard creation. Somebody would have asked about the Tableau or ClickSense part, because you, Shraddha, you'll be agreeing with me that you have been working the kind of the nature of job you have. You are from end-to-end process, from inception of the data till execution of your entire project.
Yes.
So this is how it helps the individuals, the kind of rigorous training the participants they go through and what they follow. And yes, obviously the self-learning, you always have to keep your thinking cap on. So if you, and you also have to take the initiative like the Kegel competitions, a lot of such portals which you have to take apart, hackathons and techathons, and a lot of things which happenings around you. So you have to be open for learning. That is the key takeaway, I believe.
Yes.
And you'll be agreeing with me, so that you all have done.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree.
Right. So another question we'll have, Praveen Kumar is asking, what else do we need to focus apart from Python, MySQL, sets, ML to become a good data scientist?
So Praveen, I had already mentioned, like, it's a blend of skills. And these are the technical skills, but there are many non-technical skills as well that you need to focus on. So knowing, asking the whys, questioning the assumptions, and finding use cases that could solve a business problem. So you have to think in that direction, you know and it is mix of all these skills that can help you to become a good data scientist.
Yes, I believe she has that question. Oh, sorry, asking courses was like advanced level. Okay.
So for basic subjects, actually, let's SQL learning, it was very advanced, and you had the basic of everything to start off with very well, knowing about it. So there is one thing, when you enter, there are a certain expectations from you that this. So I all of it. When I was very well aware of all of these things, the basics.
Okay. Another question Aryan is asking, I'm in the first year and I took BTech CSE in data science and artificial intelligence. How the students, data scientists, position in the placement, what she meant, I believe, what he meant, what are the rounds they have to clear for moving on this? So you can tell your journey as well, since you have already been through with that stages. Over to you, Shraddha.
Yeah, so basically, what are the rounds? It completely depends on the company and what environment. So there can be rounds, there can be 3 rounds. So for me, it was technical rounds. And what they have usually asked me, as I mentioned that earlier, that it was about the projects that I did. So when resume, so they will ask you in and out about the project, and in that, basics of your statistics or machine learning will eventually pitch in. So you have to know all of that. But be very clear with the basics and know your projects in and out. Know the work you have done in and out.
So you have to be good at your conceptual knowledge plus your technical skills that you have gained through the thought process of projects and what you have mentioned.
Yes.
Okay. So another question you can take. Okay. I believe Aryan got your answer. The Greek Joel we have again is asking, during the study, do you have any fear of failure? If yes, what you did? Good.
I studied more. So statistics was one subject which I did not have much. I learned stats completely after coming to Aegis. So I was in the beginning little scared of statistics. I invested a lot of time in it, and by the end, I was quite good at it. So the only thing you can do is put more efforts in that thing. Whatever you feel you are not at.
Okay, so Girish, I answered the question. She already explained that. Okay, so Kapilesh is asking how Aegis helped in clearing the interviews. Okay.
Okay, so during the course, for us especially, there were a lot of mock interviews that were in place. So we had these mock. So this is a 11 months course, and we had our mock interview starting from 4th month itself. that gave us immense confidence. So when we actually went for the interviews, I felt that I was not that nervous, which I was in the initial mock interview. So these mock interviews have helped us a lot, and also they spend a lot of time in your resume preparation, and they help you a lot in answering the questions in the interviews. All these things are very well cleared in the mock interviews that are conducted by them.
Okay, so Kalpesh, I would like to add on certain more things. Like she has already explained, Shraddha has very well mentioned. So typically we have a dedicated career management center for the placements part, since most of your query is the placement, and that is quite obvious because it's an investment, Shraddha, what we take it. It's a career investment that all of you have put up, and you are looking forward to. Most of you are looking forward to put up. So it's an investment of your efforts. It is an investment of your time, which is more precious. And obviously, it's an investment of your hard earned money. If your parents have not earned black money, then it would be certainly a hard earned money. So that would be a big challenging, right? So for that, that's quite obvious to ask that question, and you should be concerned about the placements. But here at Aegis, as Shraddha explained, so we thoroughly give the entire idea of the mock interviews in which the real experts, the industry experts, they come, they take the interviews of the individual. So they will bring their own perspective about the industry, what sort of questions, what companies they are looking forward to us. Also, for that, we have a dedicated career management center for that. Okay, so Shraddha Dharmik is asking a question, is there any chance for non-IT people to enter into this field at this stage, like if I'm having years of experience in some other field, which is basically non-IT background, and if yes, how much time will it take, and what will the study plan for it, like from where I have to start and as a beginner? So I will reframe that question from Shweta, what she has asked. So typically from the non-IT individuals, I have asked that question earlier, I believe, Shweta, if she has followed us. So for the non-IT individuals who are coming from non-IT background, because as I mentioned, we have in the group today, there are individuals who are from financial background, there are individuals who are in retail background, so who are absolutely from non-IT, right? Who have never ever thought of coding. For them, coding is a big fear, right? It's like a nightmare for them. When you say coding, they feel, oh my God, this is not something, I cannot do that. So for those individuals, already you have cleared that perspective about the individual. The data science, it's not about coding. Yes, you should know the basics of it, like Python, which is a very easy to learn. But yes, it's not that hardcore. But the question is very much relevant. Again, I would reframe for those individuals who are coming from, say, financial background, from completely non-IT, non-technical individuals who are economics background, who are looking forward to data science. So how they should start, or what would be the study plan for those?
For this, so yeah, people who are there are many people who are from non-IT background. So as I've already mentioned, this thing that is required, it requires your domain knowledge. So whatever you would have worked in, even that used to in this field. And about how much time and what is the study plan for it, see, is something that completely like how much thoroughly you are doing, time you are investing it, and how seriously doing it. So it completely depends how much time. But where to start beginner? So as a beginner, you can taking very basic courses. So as Ratan already mentioned, there are many. You can take some basic courses, subjects, and you can start doing small projects. There are Kaggle competitions happening, so you can take in the beginning, and as and when you feel more confident.
And I would like to highlight, so like very well explained, offering these programs. Their query was very genuine. Individuals who are from different backgrounds, who are from commerce background, economics background, completely non-IT, non-coding, non-technical background, even we can take those individuals. So they have always quite dicey or skeptical about getting into data science. So for those individuals who follow us today, so I would like to highlight few. So we have been offering these programs with disruptive technologies for last. So every batch we have seen almost in a batch of strength is closely 20-30%, whether it's a full-time program, maybe the executive batch, around 25 to 30% from that background, which is absolutely from non-IT coding and non-technical individuals commerce background, even biology background.
Yes.
There are individuals who are from bio background. Do you think that bio background guys, they might have ever thought that they were entering into that data science vertical? But now very well mentioned that data science the experts. That's why I'm she has mentioned means something is who are already hands in these. So now in you take an example of any industry, you take any industry, increase their data. So there are data scientists, they are required. Individuals who can transform the data into meaningful of data scientists or data particularly. But now advanced level of data science, what Shraddha has very well explained. So actually the modern definition of data science, I would like to mention in the chat itself. So if you talk about yes, data science, that is equivalent to your traditional big data, then AI aspect into it. This is modern data science all about. So in traditional analytics, say it includes your SQL, which is a very long back technology, but still it's very relevant in market come forward for that skill, and it's a tool. So which is very easier to learn, which is the RDBMS. Very, very, very simple tool that you can learn on that. That includes the statistics-based technique. Then comes your big data technologies like your big data ecosystems into that. Spark is there, which is used to process your data extensively, which is being used. And then your AI technologies. AI, I think it's just a name given, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, which is a subset of AI. Then of what data science is all about. So for the transition for those individuals to get into the data science, it's very easy. If you think any individuals who possesses that much of analytical minds, anybody who whose brain functions logically is very much, they are very much eligible and make their career. As I mentioned, there are who are from biology background, completely commerce background, they have done the transition as a data scientist. Aryan is asking how much time it take to ultimately.
That okay, so completely depends on how much effort to put. There is no time, at least think of.
Okay, so Kalpesh, about placements at Aegis. So the companies, the time you were at Aegis, the placement scenarios. So if you can put the highlights on that.
Yeah, so we have like a dedicated, 3 days of placement that happens here. At least for us, it was continuous days of placements, and all the companies there, came 3 days. Since our batch was a very small one, so we had around 15 companies for the placement drive.
Kalpesh, you got the answer. Typically, I'll tell you the scenarios. I'll also put some highlight on that. So earlier, your institution, including your IAMs, Ahmedabad, your ISI Kolkata, who always do come up with day zero days that Shraddha would be aware about. So day zero means the maximum number of days they do come at day zero. And then day one and day two happens in that way. And there is no such limitations. If you get one job, you're not allowed to sit in another company. This is not how you can sit to as number of companies you can. Prior to that batch, we have around 54 plus companies have come from your batch, Shraddha. I believe you would be aware about that. And for 54 candidates, 50 plus companies typically they have come. And the placements are good. So typically at the scenario, companies will only pick you page. You are concerned about the placements, but it's all about it, which will take you, or you do not have to run after the companies, they will run after you. Right? You have to upgrade yourself in such a way so that you can prove worth in front of the interviewer. You up, they will gauge you on various parameters. They will grade you up even on some basic skills like difference between a linear regression or a logistic regression, which is a machine learning technique. They might be asking, right, what is the difference between mean? Maybe they might be asking you that question. You on the basics of that, is that what you have done? Then, like Shraddha has very well explained the project. So because you have something to explain, and the good thing here, you will be offered real life projects. Like Shraddha has mentioned, worked with a leading music channel in India. She has created a predictive based modeling for them, like the Netflix and Instagram that, or maybe Amazon Prime that you have been using extensively in this lockdown period. The recommendation, or the Kindle if you are using, it recommends you the book. A similar kind of platform, what the participants, they work upon the extensive projects. So we will take you to the placements. I believe, Kalpesh, you got the answer. Anybody would have any question? Okay, Nachiket is asking. Okay, can you explain the, Nachiket is asking the question, Shraddha, let me read that question. Can you explain the hierarchy in your organization? And how is your experience as assistant general manager?
Okay, I think that is very organization, related question. So I will tell you.
Okay, I'll reframe it. What he meant to ask that to whom you are reporting, and your experience, like I mentioned, how you start your day as a general manager, what sort of assistance that, I mean, so what sort of, what is your forte? Looks like I have asked that question. Similar way, he is asking the same question. Try to figure it out. Yes.
So, a typical day that is, as I mentioned, it's not same every day. We are presented with different use case. We are asked, to think upon the solution that we build. And my experience there is quite, mix of things. It is not one particular job that I'm doing. It is a mix of things. I'm sometimes spending time in data preparation. Sometimes I'm spending time in, model building. So, yeah.
Okay, Nachiketa. So typically the hierarchy part, most of the organization, Nachiket, I would like to highlight a few more points. So in that disruptive technologies that we have been discussing for the last 1 hour, so organizations who are transforming themselves into a data-driven organization, the structured organization, or the organization who have a conventional way of doing the businesses, but they get into the Fortune 500 list also, because most of the organizations globally, any sector, any segment, they are transforming into a data-driven organization, because we also do support the organization in terms of helping them, providing a helping hand in terms of transforming themselves into a data-driven organization. So in that industry, or that segment, that industry is what they are putting up as a segment, which is called data science vertical, or data vertical, or data architects vertical, whatever you can put it. These are just the terms. But data scientist, since this is the segment or the vertical in which companies they have the data center, so they have, it's a flat kind of organization. The hierarchy sort of thing you will not find in most of the organization. It's a flat structure. You'll be agreeing with me, Shraddha, on that part. So it's a flat structure in which most of the organizations, they have a flat structure in which everybody is responsible for their job. Right? There is no such big cabins in which the general manager would be coming from his own cabin, and scolding the entire team. Gone are the days. It's an entirely different way of the work style in which the companies are adopting. It's a flat organization structure, open structure, in which kind of reporting to some, it's every allocated task and they have to do it, and everybody is that much charged up that have to execute that task. So but yes, so this is how the companies are coming up with its organization structure. Most of the organization, top-notch startup SMEs who are adapting that into their organization, they are following that flat structure that we have. Earlier we have seen that there is a manager, senior manager, then beyond a general manager, then the general manager would be reporting to the another VP of the structure. This is a different hierarchy. But in data science, this is not happening in that way. Even in your earlier days, Shraddha, you might have seen the hierarchy was completely different, right? You used to report to your team lead.
It's completely different when you are, that's true, Ritin, actually. Completely different when you are in this field. So, whatever work we are assigned or whatever projects we are working on, we are, equally taking the ownership of it, and, we are indirectly in touch with the business. So it is on individual person. Sometimes we are working on group projects, like team projects, but many times it is, individual person working on it and is completely responsible for it.
True. So your prior experience also you might have seen earlier, right? Because you used to report to your team lead, the team lead used to report to the project head report to the delivery head, delivery head report to the business head, business has you to report. There's different structure altogether. But now in data science, it's a kind of flat, right? So I believe we answered the question. Who asked that question? Okay, Nachiket was had asked that question. Okay, another question we have from the Kalpesh. What is your opinion on curriculum of data science given by Aegis? Is it sufficient?
So, Kapilesh, yes, the curriculum is very comprehensive. It is very much sufficient. So, I've been working here for almost 3 months now, and whatever projects I've done, there is nothing that I have not come across during the course I did at Aegis. So everything was taught to us, all the concepts were taught to us, and yes, the curriculum will cover all the basics that you need to, get started with your career in data science.
Right. So another question we'll take, which is coming from. Okay, he has not put his name. Some code had come up like E832. Please put your name also so that we can identify that who is there. So I will be completing 3 years of experience in IT industry in next coming months. Okay. So he's asking, how can I leverage this to get into data science domain effectively? Also, what parameters Aegis look for in candidates holistically? Okay, so he asked 2 questions. Number 1, so he is going to complete Shraddha. I'll reframe that question to easier. So that this gentleman, if I again request, please put your name or you can type your name so we can call you with your name. So he's about to complete 3 years in few months, and he's asking how he can leverage his experience. So in IT industry, I would like to, you should be more rated. I mean, in IT industry, what you are in? You are into development, you are into infrastructure, into support, services, what exactly you are in IT? So, okay, so how he can leverage his experience in data science? Yeah, this is the first question. And what ages look forward in the candidates? Maybe he might be asking when it comes to the providing you the admission offer, or maybe when it comes to the recruitment process, what we look forward in the candidates. Okay, so I will answer that question, the ages part, but you please try to answer that question, Shraddha. So what actually the leverage he can take coming from the IT background?
Okay, so when you say that you are coming from the IT background, so I believe there must be at least some domain or some kind of project you must be associated with. So, for example, I came from a financial background. So, there are companies, when companies come, there are these companies coming from financial background as well. So, you can use that knowledge, in that. And that way it could be used, I believe. The domain knowledge is very important. That is one of the important parameters. Then once you understand and get hold of the tools and techniques that you will learn, the technical skills that you will gain, you can kind of what you can do is, you can work on the projects that are related to the domain that you are coming from. So for example, if you are coming from finance, you can learn the skills, and then you can implement some projects which are useful to the financial domains. And when you get these opportunities, you can present these projects to them, so that your 3 years of experience or as many years of experience it could be used.
Okay, so very well explained, Shraddha. So this, I believe so his name is Pranav, I believe he mentioned. Yeah, Pranav. So I believe we answered, Shraddha very well explained and answered your question. Okay. So Swapnil we have on board. So he's asking, I am a mechanical production engineer. I had basic C and C++ as a subject in my first year. Apart from that, I do not have any relation to coding. Whatever I see ads related to data science, I see BE computer science, IT, etc. itself. So is it correct for me to go for this? Will this have me to do coding completely? Okay, the same question, I believe, if you have been following us, we answered that question. But again, Swapnil, so I will ask Shraddha to please respond to that question.
Yeah. So, Swapnil, first of all, there is this notion when we are doing our engineering that mechanical engineers take mechanical engineering, it's a core branch, and people think that mechanical engineers can do anything. So, do not have that thing, that coding, because I have personally seen many people, like in my previous company, my mentors, then in this course, people who are mechanical engineers and they are doing extremely good. So a few of my friends who joined the course, they were mechanical engineers and they have come out as great coders. So it is not that you cannot do it. And if you have a knowledge of basic C and C++, then coding a different language is just the matter of logic. Only the syntax is changing. So I don't think it is that big a challenge for you.
I believe very well explained, Swapnil. So you asked that question. Okay. So I will go to that Pranav's question, which was the second part. How ages look forward in a candidate. So typically at ages, Pranav, that you asked that what we are looking forward in the candidates. So primarily we look forward, see, we gauge the participants in 4 parameters, right? Your background, hardly it matters whether you're coming from commerce background, economics background. As if you have been following me since beginning, I already cleared every batch what we do have come up till now. We have seen the success rate, and because we have the largest community, and I proudly say that we have a legacy of producing data scientists for the last 6 years that we have been doing. And in every batch, we have the individuals who are coming from different backgrounds altogether. Participants are coming from economic background, commerce background, a lot of from previous and past we have mechanical in the complete the program, and it's not about specific, so a hurdle for you to get into data science. So keep that notion away from your mind. So do gauge the participants on the ability. We basis program like the camp. So we all mentioned it's a talker camp to bear the talk on Shraddha. And we mentioned like we suck the blood of the participants and we purify for the 11 months and we make them the data scientists. This is what the process we follow. So coming back, 4 parameters. Number 1, the learnability aspect. Number 2, the adaptability aspect. Number 3, whether somebody would have that much of logical reasoning capabilities. Number 4, that logical reasoning capability also includes your problem solving ability that we provide you, ask you various questions. Then comes your analytical reasoning capabilities. These are the 4 major parameters in which we do gauge the participants upon. If we find somebody good, we extend them the admission offer. This is what we do look forward in the candidates. Okay, so I believe, Pranav, I answered your question, and hopefully you got the answer for your question, what you have, which I directed to Swapnali, Shraddha, sorry. So now another question we have, Lata is asking, what do you think about the scope of upcoming data scientists during or after the lockdown situation? I believe, Lata, if you are following, so Shraddha already has mentioned, in somehow or other, I have not elaborately, but we have given some touch-ups on that part. But yes, Shraddha, if you could answer the question.
Yeah. So the scope during during and after the lockdown situation. Okay, so as I already mentioned that this lockdown could be very well used to upgrade your skills if you want to, and even and the demand is not going to decrease in the next few years. It is only going to increase. So even after lockdown is lifted, or after this situation, the demand will be there for next few years. So I think the scope is really good.
Okay, so I will again, thank you, Shraddha. I would like to highlight certain points. So we as an institution, because see, primarily we are an institution, but the secondary line of business that we are in, to all the participants who are listening to us, we have a software company, which is called a consulting vertical of Aegis, under which we take projects from the organization. It's a consulting vertical, put projects from the government enterprises. We take projects from them and we provide them with the solution. Similarly, like the project Khojo application, you are very well aware about, Shraddha. So that we have signed an MOU with government of Goa, Andhra government. They are supporting us in a big way. We have provided that COVID application, that Khojo application, to identify the to combat that COVID-19 situation. So now, as an institution, primarily what we are taking it as a blessings in disguise, because this is the right time when you have to upgrade your skills. Because once the lockdown will over, once the cloud of this COVID-19 gets settled down, the market will be more competitive, more the competency would be very high. and the market is very going to be very tough and competitive. So at that point of time, it is very essential for those individuals who are looking for to upgrade their skills. This is the right time to put yourself into that learning mode. And once the lockdown is over, companies, they are still in the lockdown, companies are hiring. So we as an institution, we are coming up with the placement drive in the month of June. So the response what we are giving, this is absolutely normal. So this is what the companies are looking forward to hire the individuals, right? So this is the right time to put yourself into that learning mode and start learning. So it's a silver lining in the cloud that what we are taking it, and India has a very good opportunity at that along the way we have handled the situation. So most and more number of companies, they would be looking forward to invest in India. Things will be happening in a pretty different manner altogether. In those disruptive technologies, there are individuals who are very high in demand, who have the right sort of skills, what Shraddha will explain. Okay, so Nil C is asking business analytics, data scientists, big data, data science engineering, MBA. Can you please explain the difference, please? I came across various institutions or colleges offering different courses and such terminologies. Please explain. Thank you. Okay, Swapnil, so I would like to answer this question, and then I'll ask Shraddha to take a quick add-on on that. So the business analytics, see, Swapnil, there are a lot of institutions that you will come across who are coming up with various programs. So there are, we would not suggest you, if you are looking forward to make a transition, we would not suggest you to go forward for the institution who are offering MBA in business analytics. Gone were the days of MBA. Unless or until you are doing your regular MBA, even that MBA you have scored 99.99 percentile in your CAT, or maybe you are doing it from IIM Ahmedabad, ABC, or XLIs or IMTs, then it has certain worth. But apart from that, MBA has loosened the charm, because the management itself, it's a most abused word, right? So the management no longer is required. The companies, they are looking forward to analyze the data. They are looking forward to make these strategies for the companies on the basis of the data. So data analytics approach are very much required. Maybe you are aware or not, every e-commerce companies like maybe Flipkart or maybe Amazon that you must be using extensively. So 35% of their sales, that is coming from the recommendation system. And that recommendation system is a very classic and example of machine learning. So Flipkart or Amazon and any company who are transformed themselves as a data science organization, or who are already the pioneers in that data science, they will not, they will think twice when it comes to sacking down the managers. But they will not take that risk to fire the individuals who will bring the blood to the organization. And who are these individuals? They are the data scientists. So the business, I'll come to the terms that you have discussed, you have asked, business analytics. So typically, I would like to take in that way. So business analyst, so there are another species which existed today itself, which are called data analysts. So data analyst, precisely, you can take it as a, if you can visualize it, they are the early man's stage, right? Data analysts, they do not have that much exposure to the Python, to all these machine learning, these technologies. They are good at Excel or maybe some statistics based techniques, but they are using. They are good at the pivot table that you might have studied maybe in Excel and analyzing the data. They are good at it, that thing. So these are called data analysts who are good at some traditional based approaches in data science or maybe the analytics. Then comes your, you can also put the statistician into that data analyst part. Then comes the business analytics. So business analytics part, you can put those individuals who are good at communication, who are good at presentation. You can put those business analyst individuals who understand some few technologies. And then comes your, the big data. Big data is nothing, it's a term given. So you can define that big data as a, as per the definition, if you go by definition, it is classified as 4 V's. Because of which the big data has been defined. 4V means, your V means volume, the huge amount of volume, the huge amount of data in quintillion bytes of data, that what we are talking today. Then comes your velocity, the speed in which data has been transferring. You can take an example of the driverless cars. Suppose a driverless cars, no driver is no more a concept. It is already being, being tested by Tesla and Google. They are extensively working upon that. So if suppose a driverless car is passing by, some kid is crossing the road, the car should stop. Just imagine the kind of speed the data has been processed, whether it's a kid, whether it's a dog or a cat, what is the speed of that person who is passing by, right? That decision that the human, we do not even bother our brain. Our bone marrow gives this signal and we press the brake because of the bone marrow that provides the signal, the neural networks that we have got inbuilt as a human. So that kind of precision and that kind of speed, that what we are talking. You can take an example of Flipkart or Snapdeal, millions of products, millions of customer. You search any query, search a product, it give you a result fraction of seconds. Take second example of Google also. Search any query, give you the answer in fraction of seconds, though they have a tons of data you cannot even imagine. So that kind of speed we are talking. So volume, velocity, variety. So these are the components which define the big data. Variety means different types of data. Data means like your structured, unstructured, you can put your videos, your calls, your WhatsApp images that you are sharing. We are transferring that data because of this live interactive session what we are having with Shraddha. So it's a data what we are transferring. So this is called your the variety of the data that contributed into big data. And then comes the veracity, the fourth V, and that is quite complex. Veracity means the uncertainty of the data. Means data which is not uncertain, which is not certain. If you start searching what is data science, you will get tons of definition. Individuals who know data science, they will define data science by their own way, right? So to whom you should trust? You will be buying the stuff which is coming from the experts. Like today we are interacting with Shraddha. She has been working in that data science vertical. Now, whatever she is telling you, you will be agreeing with her notion because she has been working in that industry. So this is how the veracity part that comes, and thanks to technologies, because of these statistical based techniques, these AI and machine learning, which is nothing, it's at the back, it's all about mathematics, statistics. Shraddha will be agreeing with me. And like your classification, clustering, linear regression, logistic regression, it's all about mathematics. So the techniques which are used in machine learning, because easier to veracity part, the uncertainty of the data. So now this is defined as big data, but if you talk about in technology perspective, so big data has been defined as the big data ecosystems. What are big data ecosystems? You can put Hadoop as a big data ecosystem, which is precisely being used to process your data. But now Hadoop is declining because it's no longer that much adequate in the market. There was a time when Hadoop was very high in demand till 2008, when duck cutting had introduced that Hadoop. Then Apache, he sold it to Apache. It's a company, Apache Hadoop. You must have heard about that. So it works upon the very simple notion, divide and rule. You have to segregate the data to different machines and you get the results out of it. So, but now Hadoop is no longer adequate. That Hadoop is a part of big data ecosystem. Now the companies, they are moving towards Spark, S-P-A-R-K. This is again by Apache. So that Spark, again, it is used to do the process of your data. Extensive data, if you have got, you can use a Spark. It is much more easier, relevant, and faster than Hadoop. So these are called big data ecosystems. There is nothing as such defined as a big data. So these are the two ways in which big data has been defined. Now, if you talk about data science, Swapnil, if you have been following me, I have given you a very own the definition, or maybe I have defined the data science as a 360-degree or maybe 10,000 feet view I have given. If you can scroll down the chat, you will find that data science, it's all about your traditional analytics approach. Your statistics plays a very, very, very vital role. Shraddha has been keep mentioning that it's all about statistics, and she is very true. Data science, the backbone of any data science, it's all about statistics. It's all about mathematics. It's all about your matrices. It's all about your statistics. It's all about your, again, that I mentioned earlier, like your classification, your clustering, your anomaly detection, your linear regression, your logistic regression, your time series. This is what it included in data science. Then comes your data science tools, like she mentioned, like Python, which is one of the hottest tool which companies, they are looking forward to. Python is very much required if you are working into the automation part. Most of the companies, they are looking forward for that skill, Python. And Python, there are a lot of tools which is being used under Python, like advise you, do not get into that trap. Half-baked MBA programs, which is MBA in business analytics, it would be like a societal attempt, guys. Believe me, because it will not lead you to any industry. Because, and also there are 4 or 5 points I would like to mention you, which you have to look forward in terms of picking up the institution. In general, I'm telling you, number one, the industry association. So what sort of industries the institution they get associated with, because of which, if you have the association with the giants, so the institution will be in the sync with what sort of technologies, what sort of innovation are happening in the world. And as a result, because you are a part of that institution, you will be you will be also get synced. Another point that you have to look forward to, that Shraddha has already explained, the curriculum. The curriculum has to be in sync. It has to be in sync with the industry requirement. What are the hottest skills and the tools what companies are looking forward to? Third point you have to look forward to is the experts, the faculties. Who are the faculties who are coming and delivering with the sessions? And the fourth point, what Shraddha has already explained, the projects part. What sort of projects you are involving yourself in? Because this will shape your career, because of which the companies will run after you. You do not have to chase the companies. The approach will be upside down. Because we all have been coming from the old school, where we enroll ourselves in any program and we think the institution will bring the companies, right? Yes, the institution will bring the companies, but you have to prove your worth. Because in that scenario, companies will only hire you if you would be able to put the value addition starting from day one. This is the only thing what companies look forward to at the end. The recruiter's perspective is that, right? And the fifth point, obviously, the placements and look forward for the institution. This is, I have given you a kind of long shot answer, Swapnil, for your question. I believe I answered that. Okay, Karnal is asking, in addition to above question, what is the difference between business intelligence and data science? Can you please explain? Shraddha?
Yeah, so I'll try to answer both. Though you have given a lot of insights about various terms, business analytics, data analytics, and so basically, whenever we come across this term analytics, it has something to do with the past data and future prediction. So whenever you are saying business analytics or data analytics, so it's using the data from the past to predict something which will benefit the business. When you say data analytics, then it is, as Ritin mentioned, that using statistical methods to predict something, basically predictive modeling. Big data is storing, processing of the data, and without big data we wouldn't have data science, because it requires huge data. And data science is combination of all these statistical modeling using the advanced ML algorithms and your domain knowledge. So it is a mix of all these things. Then comes business intelligence. So in business intelligence, basically you're using your past data and present data to sort of report something to the business, to share insights about what is happening. So based on those insights, they can take some decisions or what. So I would differentiate this on all these things. And moreover, when we talk about these business related terms, so I believe that when business analytics, business intelligence, these things come, so it is more on the managerial side. And when you're talking about data science and stuff, so it is more, it requires a lot of technical. So that is a very high level division of these things.
Okay, I believe we answered your question, Swapnil. All right. So another question we will take, like Kunal, in addition to the above question, what is the difference between business intelligence and data science? I believe, Shraddha, you have asked the answer, but if you could
Yes.
explain that.
Yes. Krunal, I just mentioned intelligence is more with using for example, see how my company is performing, terms of a product. Dashboards I will draw in.
Alumni working as data scientists with leading organizations. Participants can get opportunities for internships and final job placement with leading organizations. Aegis organizes awards. Aegis largest deep learning steps. Network data scientists and AI experts from around the world. To world. World structure and cloud management system. Delivery model, full-time, executive weekend classroom, and online live interactive. www.aegis.edu.in.
Seven years back, as I mentioned, the role when IBM, they are the leaders in the data science and business analytics and big data or cybersecurity and cloud vertical. And that was the time, I'll give you a quick snapshot. Whatever jargon we're saying and hearing, the technology, where the way we are moving forward. So it's all about data science, the data, the explosion. It's a new oil that we have been talking for the last 1.5 hour. And so it all started with big data. And thanks to IBM, almost a decade back in the year 2008 or 9, when the IBM was at the peak of their business, they sold out their entire business unit to Lenovo. I'm still using one laptop, which is a ThinkPad. Very long back, I purchased that laptop. That technology was built by IBM. It's an IBM patented laptop. But now they have sold out their entire unit to Lenovo. Why? And that was typically the time when the IBM was at the peak. Still there, companions like maybe contemporary companies like HP or Dell, still they are doing amazingly well. Because IBM, they are always a visionary, and that's why we always do appreciate that organization, because they think. And there are certain companies like IBM or Amazon who have the entire research centers where they do the actual research and development. They come up with the new technology and the innovation, which they ask the other companies to use. That's why we join hands with them. So for you, it is required to know the IBM's role also. So that was the time when they sold out the unit to Lenovo, and they spent close to $24 billion. It's a huge chunk of money, $24 billion. Typically, $1 billion would be equivalent to 6,000 or maybe 7,000 crores, right? So that amount of money they have invested that time in big data. So and they are the initiator of that big data, what we are listening, and that all data science started from big data only. So that was the time when they initiated that big data, and they are the leaders. That was the time when IBM, because IBM, they cannot teach. So IBM, they have joined hands with us at that time, and we started and rolling out these programs and postgraduate program in data science, business analytics and big data, then PGP postgraduate program in cybersecurity. And these are all applied programs which are equivalent to MS in data science we offer with IBM. Now coming back to the role of IBM. So the way they join hands with them. So with IBM, we have established Aegis IBM, data science, business analytics, cloud computing, and cyber security labs. And these are all virtual labs. The access we will provide to the participants, which they use it for doing their in-class projects, consulting assignments. The entire lab setup we have got with IBM. Another role for IBM has to play is they always do take a part in terms of recruitment. So they do recruit the candidates as well. And there are certain IBM specific proprietary technologies, right, which are developed wholly and solely by IBM, proprietary technologies, which IBM experts, they come and they will do the hand-holding for the participants. So the technologies like IBM Cognos BI, InfoSphere Big Insight, IBM SPSS, Cognitive Computing by IBM, IBM Watson Analytics, there are a bunch of technologies by IBM for which, apart from the courses that we do offer in this program, which Shraddha has explained to you, starting from the statistics, then Python, then machine learning, different types of machine learning, then your deep learning, AI, natural language processing, Spark, SQL, Tableau, ClickSense, ClickView, a lot of, that's why I mentioned it's a very intensive program. Apart from that, there are IBM specific proprietary technologies which would be delivered by the IBM experts. So this is how IBM's roles come into the picture. I believe, Kalpesh, I answered. your question. So another question we are coming from, a BCom graduate can do data science very much. If you have been following me, you're Pranav, I guess. Please put your name so that we can address you in the same name. So it should not be like we are giving you some name like we give to the some objects. So please do mention your name. So it will be making us feel that the live environment. So it's not about BCom or it's not about the biology background. It's all about that. I mentioned about 4 parameters. One should have that much of logical reasoning capabilities, analytical reasoning capabilities, and so these are 4 parameters. Your learnability, adaptability. This is what we do look forward for the individuals. So you are very much eligible if you are from BCom graduates, and as I mentioned earlier, if you have been following me, every batch, like 25 to 30% intake we have in the entire batch from the candidates who are coming from commerce, economics, management, MBA graduates, BBA graduates, even the individuals who are from biology background as well. So this does not make any difference. I believe Shraddha has already answered that question as well. Anybody would have any questions apart from that? We'll take a quick question and else we'll wrap up the session for the day. Okay, I believe we have answered most of the questions, Shraddha. So thank you so much to all the participants, the attendees, for your patient listening. And thank you so much, Shraddha, for taking time and interacting with the individual, providing the insights for the budding data scientists or the data science enthusiasts who are looking forward to explore, inspire, or aspire from the journey what you had till now. And all the very best for your future endeavors as well, Shraddha. And yes, and a very thank you again to all the individuals for showing this overwhelming response and for your brilliant questions and making the session alive. And do take good care of your health. And thank you so much, Shraddha. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.